Hey there, hope you're doing good. Let's continue refactoring Futurecam. As usual, we have our task list here. Let's start with this task. Clean up multi-lapse code in abstract video mode. Okay, so you have multiple writers here. So as you know, you can capture a time lapse with your camera, which is a speeded up video. No, we don't want worms, we want something else. Yeah, this is a beautiful one. So it's basically speeded up. Let me full screen it. This is play. This have play in 4K because it's also recording and driving a 4K mode. Oh, I accidentally selected 44. No. Just select some very low resolution, which should play immediately. Because I have plenty of internet bandwidth, that's not the problem. Yeah, so this is the Now, on an iPhone with multiple cameras, you can use any of them to capture a time lapse. Futurecam had this unique feature where you could capture multiple time lapses at once with multiple cameras, but I was never able to get it working properly. The brightness would keep flickering. So it was disabled in the UI. But some of the code is messy because it's more general than it needs to be. Now we have been cleaning it up over multiple commits, but some more remain. So let's work on that. So we don't need multiple writers since we no longer have multiple videos. And a writer is a thing that creates a video file. There's only one writer. See how much cleaner the code is. While we are at it, we are going to clean up this function called optional minimum, which no one invokes. Yeah, we don't need to take an argument here because there's only one. And since this function handles a writer not being present, I guess we don't need it here. Or if we do have it there, we don't need it here, but better to do it at the lower level. So if you have a function A which invokes B, B should ensure that it has whatever it needs so that it doesn't crash. Because tomorrow someone else C could directly invoke B. So do things at the lower level. Save the video. So let's do it one step at a time. If writer equal to nil, writer equal to this, return writer. So we no longer need this. We can just inline it actually. Okay, that's gone. This can't be an iflet or guardlet or anything because it updates it. Iflet creates a local variable. So yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to update the class, the instance variable or the stored property. Verify writer equal to nil. Okay. Why do you need this fast video? Why do you need to take the device was the question, the first argument. For the angle. Okay, fine. So one principle is not to pass in a lot, because if you have access to the AV capture device here, you have a lot, and the writer should not be modifying the device. So this is the data flow. You have the device, and then you have the mode, and finally it goes to the writer. Now this writer shouldn't have a reference to this, because it can theoretically configure the camera by itself, which is not its job. Its job is to write a video file, as the name says. So should not pass too much. Like don't pass A, B, C, D if you need only A. I think this is a CG float. What is the data type? CG float. I think this is the only call site of the initializer. Fast video writer. Yes. Oh, this is still too. Okay, now what else is there in this that can be cleaned up? I'm not seeing much. You're creating the frame producer, you're receiving frames, and you're processing them, and you're stopping them when you should. You're creating a writer. So creating a writer is a very cheap operation. Because it just stores a couple of instance variables. All the heavy things such as initializing the HEVC encoder. So HEVC is a modern image, a modern video format which is extremely intensive to work with. So the iPhone has a hardware HEVC encoder that gets initialized, but not here. So creating this is a very cheap operation. When you append a frame, that's when all the hardware gets initialized here. Okay. Just wondering whether we even need to do this lazy initialization, because the rotation angle isn't going to change, because when you press the shutter button, within a second or so you will get the first frame. In the meanwhile, the user is not going to rotate the iPhone, and this is anyway a constant 60. So we don't need to make this lazy initialization. Oh, we set it to nil somewhere here in stop recording. Yeah, we don't need to make this lazy. Where did that go? This is better because you don't need to worry about it being nil A, and B, it's let, so it's a non-modifiable constant. So this is good. We will have to do this in the initializer, which means we no longer need this instance variable. So you can see how one cleanup enables another cleanup. Where's the initializer? Oh, it doesn't have one. It inherits from mode. What is its initializer? Func init. Doesn't have one. Okay, required init. This doesn't have one. This has one. Okay. So override init. I don't know whether you have to say override func init or override required init. Super.init. Swift rules say that before you invoke the superclass initializer, you have to initialize your own instance variables. Camera dot device dot this frame rate. Yeah, I think we'll get an error saying that it's a self-reference. Yeah, if so, you can trivially fix that by creating a constant for this and returning the constant here as well as here. It's not a big deal. I don't have a compiler here. I'm working on Windows, so that may be making me take shortcuts which I shouldn't be. You're creating the writer with this. Here you're iterating through all of them, but now you have max 1. So you do this and the default case is nil, or the failure case. You still return it, otherwise there's only 1. There's no minimum maximum anymore since there's only 1 value. And you save only 1 and you don't need to pass it because it's an instance variable, and you set it to nil. Yeah, actually let me not make that change right now. There's too much going on here in this. Like maybe this is a good change to make, but there's too much in this commit already. So let's do what is necessary, which is instead of multiple writers we have 1, and let's keep everything else the same. Let's initialize them where we were, let's set it to nil where we were, and so on. So don't make changes which are not related to the purpose of the commit. Even if they are good changes, they can go in a different commit. Yeah, this was a lazy init. Here you are doing a lazy init, here also you are doing a lazy init. The save function doesn't need to take an argument, but everything else is the same. It guards that it is nil. Multiple writers from fast video writer, since we no longer have multi-labs. I think this 50 is crazy, it's too low. Like one complete sentence should be good, maybe not a paragraph, but oops, misaligned. Okay. What else do we work on? Can we do this? This shouldn't be here. First of all, it should be private. Secondly, you don't need to do this, you don't need to multiply. You can do it at the call site. People understand that it's 6%, especially when there's a commit. 6%. There's something about battery. Okay, it's done globally. Actually, we don't need to do this. This is needed only in time-lapse mode. So it's like a bad. Oh, here also we have it. Yeah, it's okay, never mind. That's an unnecessary, unrelated optimization. See, again, this is a dumb comment. Like, what else can it do? Will it turn on the camera? No, the function name says what it is. Okay. Yeah, so this is something we need to do. Playback duration progressed. Yeah, the stop recording. So this is the same in all cases. Or time-lapse mode. Actually, first you want to verify before you do the actual work as a general practice. Shouldn't be that I did something based on the information given and then, oh no, something is wrong, right? And also, if you verify later and the verification triggers, before that something could go wrong here and you'll scratch your head trying to debug it. Whereas if you do this first, you'll get a clear message and you have saved the first step of debugging. Now, if the battery level is less than equal to 0.6, you should stop recording. Okay. This is only in time-lapse mode. We are doing it here. So we are doing it in the main queue and we are doing it asynchronously. So I was tempted to put it here somewhere in this function, but then where will it be called? It will be called here, but it should be called here. It's okay. If self is time-lapse mode and the battery level is less than 6%, then we don't need to do this in a roundabout way, just do self. Ideally you shouldn't have this code, it should be in time-lapse mode, but that's okay. Right now in this commit I don't want to put it here and risk causing a bug. So for example, suppose I do that and it stops recording, but then you're going to append a frame after you stop recording, causing a problem. So you don't want to do that. Or you can do stop recording and then you can return. Yeah, that's simpler. Never mind, we'll do it in a future commit. Like ideally you shouldn't do this kind of class-based checks, but you are doing it anyway. So it doesn't make it any worse. So that's fine for this commit. main controller, you have removed this helper function that doesn't really help. Then you have changed this verification that it should be either light trail or time lapse with a triple equal to and a message. Then you are updating the camera timer. Now in abstract video mode, yeah, the same place. In fact, if you look at the code, yeah, okay, never mind. It's basically the same place. So at least this has gone from the controller layer, which is like the UI layer, into the photography layer. And stopping recording if the battery level is low has nothing to do with the UI. It's not like the user pressed a stop button, which would belong in the UI code. So this is done. Stopping recording on low battery should not be done in a controller. And we delete this from the project. Okay, what else can we do? How long have we recorded? Oh, 27 minutes. So you have this function which is used only once. Oh, is it private? Ah, so can't be inlined. Let's make this change. We'll look at the diffs, and if it doesn't feel right, we'll undo it. And we are supposed to paste a comment as well. Oh, not this. It's okay, we've removed one forwarding function. And you could argue the encapsulation doesn't really help because anyway you are able to access that functionality through a forwarding function, which is very small. If this function which we are removing was super sophisticated, it would be a different case. This is anyway not private, so the encapsulation practically isn't getting us much. And also this is a side effect free property, so encapsulating that has lower value than encapsulating something that changes the state, but that is anyway not encapsulated. So the encapsulation has lower value and the forwarding function just adds more complexity, so it outweighs that. Okay. Where did that go? Oh, it's in Chrome. Okay, what else can we do? I don't see many forwarding functions from camera. Like if there is, we'll get rid of it, but okay, that needs to be done later. Yeah, so not much. Reevaluate big files. I think camera was big. But no longer. Main controller is big, but we have a task to split it into subcontrollers. This task. So this one can be deleted. And primitive obsession, is there anything about it? Some automated tool had suggested that we have too many primitive types being passed around, but no. It was in hint manager, but we looked at it and we decided to keep it as it is. Revisit all global and static variables to control access. I think long recording analytics would be a better name for this. Because it's only for long recording. So don't have generic sounding names. this is the one. We'll fix the local variable in a second. Local variable. Okay, now we'll fix the instance variable. Don't be inconsistent. Because people will start to think, is it something different when you're inconsistent? Okay. This should be a capital L. This is a class. Oh no, it's a local variable only. So it's all good. Yeah, I wanted to see that if here. This also doesn't work. Okay. Okay, the description is good. No work is needed. Analytics data is an odd name. Like every class represents data, right? Why are you calling it data? It's a code smell. Yeah, here I don't know if there's anything to do here. I guess I can just go through all of them and find statics and list them. This is not a static. There's nothing static here. Better session. Nothing here. Better writer, nothing here. Buffered image. Nothing. Burst recorder. I think it's easier to do this. We don't have class let or class var. Other than the mode stuff. Static let we can search for. These are constants. This is just time tracking. This is private. This is the height of something. This is analytic stuff. Like, shouldn't these be private? No. And the constants anyway. We are looking for state here. This is state. Yeah, I don't think this is a problem of global state as such, because it's just a context. Yeah, this shouldn't be here. So the motion manager. In fact, we'll just put it here. AV capture device input. Better location manager, is that what it was called? Yeah, this can be reverted. CM motion manager. There is motion, there is also location. Better location manager. CM motion manager. See, shared. Yeah, this is one more. Unlock all features. Okay, this is just an ID. It's not a state per se, because it's always the same value. It's not really state, but yeah, it's used in two different places. Okay, fine. These are constants, these are keys, values. Yeah, this one. So initially, so in a camera app, when you tap to focus, you get a square, right? Never mind, you're getting unrelated. Okay, is this the one? 12 years ago. Yes, this is what I'm looking for.
This is the tap to focus feature on the 3 megapixel camera on the IVGS. As you can see, I have two objects.
Yeah, when you tap, you get a square there, right? So that's the tap to focus. Now, oops, let me save this. So we had a bug in the code where if you tap or if you drag it, you'll get multiple of them. We wanted to make sure that that doesn't happen, so we made it this shared. So now, since you are not instantiating one more, the initializer is even private. See, and there's only one, so that way you can be sure you can never have multiple focused rectangles on screen. But the question is, does it amount to global state? Preview view is using it. Yeah, I mean, it's technically it is state, but I'm not seeing much of a problem, so let's leave it alone. This is a thing. IAP service also. This is a notification. I think we have gotten all of these. Yeah, this is one more. This is fine, it's a constant, but this represents the actual in-app purchase. If the user has made an in-app purchase, this will be non-nil. SK product is something that you can buy from the app store. It's a product. In this case, it's the in-app purchase. So this is global state. SK product dot unlock all features. Not unlock all features ID, which is just a constant. Okay, fine. These are not state because they're just a helper function for the iOS thing. Even if you were to delete this, somebody can call this iOS function to get the object. Yeah, everything is static here, so it's not really. Yep. What did we do? Nothing. Yes, nothing. There was one that said look for this one, which is now redundant. Oh, nice. We are down to 19. This list had grown to as much as 40. Yeah, I think we'll kind of conclude this video here. We have done enough work for now, and I'll see you in the next video.